Welcome to the Toastmasters Experience. My name is Evelyn. Get inspired by today's Toastmasters Insights. Enjoy the show. And welcome to another episode of the Toastmasters Experience. I'm excited and delighted to have one of the 28 semi-finalists on Zoom today. Welcome, Remona.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me back, Evelyn.
Oh, I'm so excited. I want to sort of dissect this experience for you. I know you haven't competed yet. It's going to be happening, but I want to, if you could take me back to when you found out that you were a semi-finalist. What was that experience like? Did they call you, or was it just on a list, or how did that actually happen?
Yes, it was a crazy story, crazier than I would have liked it to be. But they told us we would hear back on who the 28 semifinalists are in the first week of July. And so from the 1st of July, I was going on the website, refreshing, probably every 10 minutes. And early in that first week, I saw a LinkedIn post and it said, "Congratulations to our 28 semi-finalists." So I clicked on the link and I was so nervous because I hadn't received an email to say that I was a semi-finalist. So I was like, oh no, they've released the names and I didn't make it. So I get to the list, I see 20 names there and 8 names are missing, which was scary. Mm-hmm. So then I had to go back to my quarterfinals list. There was 9 people in my quarterfinal. And then I had to look if any of their names was part of the 28 names or 20 names. And I was praying no one from my group was there because it means I was still in the game. Mm-hmm. And no one from my group was there. So I was still in it. So then the refreshing carried on, refresh. Mm-hmm. And then my sleep broke the next day. It was the next day and I was sleeping, and 2:00 in the morning, I just woke up and checked my email and I just saw, "Congratulations, you're a semi-finalist" in the subject line. Mm-hmm. Wow. And I had this burst of excitement, it happened, I did it. And it was also special in that because it was 2:00 in the morning, it was quiet and I was alone. My husband was with me, but I was awake and alone and I could just savor that special moment before telling anyone and, the flood of congratulations and things. So.
Oh, fantastic. So what did you do when you first found out? Obviously, you let it soak in, but did you put a message on WhatsApp? Did you call somebody? Or what did you actually do after, it settled?
Yes, I sat there after that initial spike of elation had subsided into okay, this is actually happening. And I made on my notes on my phone, I made a list of all of the people that helped me get to the semifinal. Mm-hmm. And I started messaging each one of them one by one.
Okay. And then after you did that, I guess you started to let your clubs know. Is that correct?
My clubs were as invested in this as I was.
Yes.
And so as soon as the morning had come around, if they hadn't heard from me directly, they had seen it on the list. And so it was just a flood of congratulations and things coming my way. But the very next day, funny enough, was my club meeting, the club that I'm a president of, Harbour Diggers Daytime. And it was just coincidental that I had just found out and then went to this meeting. Mm-hmm. But a couple of people came to me and said, "Oh, we're really sorry that you didn't make it because we saw the list a few days ago and your name wasn't there." And I was like, "No, I did make it." And they were like, "Are you sure?"
So you questioned that, I'm sure, or
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how funny! So after the congratulations and now it's set in, was there also a bit of a panic? Like, oh my gosh, I've got to prepare now.
Oh my goodness, Evelyn. I mean, absolutely. I wish that I had stayed in the celebration of this longer, but almost, as morning came, I was already in this mode of what did I get myself into? I need to write a whole new speech.
Mm.
I had been reworking one speech for 6 months, and now I had 1 month to get a new speech together. And the weight of that and the reality of that really hit me very early into finding out
I can
that I made it.
imagine. Yes, I can imagine like the panic of, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Now, it's also huge congratulations because this is your first year in Toastmasters as well.
Yes, it is. I joined in August last year.
Wow. So I think a few people out there who are listening now would probably feel maybe a tad bit of jealousy that you have made it so quickly. But I do want to point this out because I was at the competition when you won your district final. You absolutely shined on the stage. And I think this has to do with your many years of pageant work.
Yes, for sure, Evelyn. I think I've been a lifelong student of communication and have repeatedly put myself in situations to feel nervous
Mhm.
and still put on a show up, even though you're filled with nerves. And there's really something to be said about how far repetition takes you in something like communication.
For sure, definitely. And you do have that stage presence, which you only really get when you're on the stage and you're practicing. So I think, you've been, like you just said, you have been working your whole life on the stage, communicating. And just because you've only been in Toastmasters for a year, you've been working on this pretty much your whole life. Would you say that's fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have been working on it my whole life, but I will say this, I'm not somebody who you would necessarily say that about. I think if you were to see me, sometimes I see people and I'm like, wow, this person has been living on stages. I can see it.
Mhm.
I would say I have been a student on stage my whole life, not a showman on stage my whole life.
What are you doing to prepare? Like after you found out, what did you start saying? Like, oh my God, I've got to write a new speech, or maybe you had something up your sleeve already. How has the practicing been for you?
Yes, I mean, I started from nothing.
Mm.
So I had to write a new speech, and a lot of this is where experience in Toastmasters counts because I've spoken to a few world champions, and they said when they heard they were in the semifinals, they just dusted off an old speech. But I didn't have an old speech to dust off. I've just been reworking the same one speech since I
Mm.
joined.
Hmm.
So I had to really dig deep and find all the little stories from my life. I wrote them down. And then I had a coaching session with one of my coaches, and I ran through all of my stories with her to see which one has a little bit of something that's worth developing more. And then we settled on the one that I'm using now. And then from there, I set up meetings with my other coaches. I have many coaches, Evelyn. I have five
Wow. Wow.
coaches that are helping me through this. Five speaking coaches and a mindset coach. I am a coach myself. So I absolutely believe in the power of coaching, which is why I need so much help. So I've set up time with all of my coaches, and then I set up speaking slots at clubs near me that I can get to and practice at.
Okay. And are you also practicing on Zoom?
I am practicing on Zoom, especially now in this stage of the speech I'm in. I'm really focused on messaging right
Hmm.
now. And funny enough, next week I'm shifting to delivery. So in this messaging phase, I've said my speech virtually to many clubs. And it's been really helpful because naturally the delivery part of it is not there. And the audience is really only focusing on messaging when they're watching you on Zoom.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's going to be a totally different kettle of fish once you get to America and are on that stage. Now, because you are in the top 28 semifinals, because I don't know how this works, and I think other listeners would be curious. How does it work now? Does Toastmasters International, do they contact you and say, hey, we've got a plane ticket for you and your family and a hotel room? Or do you have to take care of that?
Yeah, so this was interesting. I get my flight covered, and Toastmasters International has a travel agency they work with. So they find out all of the details from you on when you want to arrive and leave, and they will book the flight for you. And if you're traveling with family or friends, they will also book their flights for them, but then you will have to pay for that. So they do work with you to make it possible for you all to fly together while your flight is completely covered by Toastmasters International.
Okay. And how about the hotel? Do you have to take care of the hotel, or do they give you like a stipend or some money to cover that?
You have to take care of the hotel 100%. You get a discount on the conference package. So this year it's about a 50%. It's over just over a 50% discount from the conference ticket if you want to attend the 3-day conference and all of the educationals and fun things going on. And then you get access to the semifinals because you're a speaker. And if you're a finalist, you can go to that also. And then there's a one guest ticket included for both the semifinal and the final. You can also buy additional guest tickets. You get 2 guest tickets per semi-finalist and per
Okay.
finalist.
And how many days are you going before the actual competition?
I am leaving 5 days before so that I can settle in, adjust to the time zone, just in case any traveling issues happen. I'm just very paranoid. Also, I'm somebody who feels very frazzled in new environments. So I just want to go there and just check it out so that it feels familiar.
So I understand there are going to be 4 finals. So there'd be 4 of 7 competitors each. And then the top 2 will go to the top 8. Have you been told already which final that you're in? Or will that happen when you get there?
Yes. So there are 4 semifinals, and there are 7 participants in each of those 4 semifinals. And the full list has been released. So I know everyone that's in my group.
Did you compete with them in the other round or not? Well, you didn't really compete. People were watching your video.
Well, yeah, that's a good question actually, because funny enough, okay, 2 of us from the quarterfinal group of 9 made it into the semifinals. So in my quarterfinal group of 9, the funny thing is the other person that's coming with me to the semifinals from my group is also in my semifinal. So it's almost like we're competing with each other twice.
Right. Okay. I wonder if that's how that happens, or maybe they pick names out of a basket. I have no idea. I wonder how that
I
actually
wonder.
happens. Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. So I'm assuming that the speech that you're competing with at the semifinals is the speech that you have been competing with the whole year.
I still need to decide that, Evelyn. So I get a
Okay.
choice.
Yeah.
I can use the new speech for the semifinals and the one I've been practicing for 6 months for the final. But most people do their semifinal speech as the most practiced speech that got them to this point. That's what I'm told. So I have to make the decision pretty quickly. Toastmasters actually emailed me today saying, can you send us the outline for your semi-final speech? So I am going to have to decide pretty soon.
Okay. And do they also ask, just in case, an outline of the final top 8? Do they ask for both or just the one?
Just the one, which I was surprised by. They also said you're welcome to change it as much as you would like up until the semi-final.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I bet you must be excited, but also a bit scared.
Yes, it's both. I think it's comes in waves, but they're scared is definitely more predominant.
Yes.
Especially when the speech isn't where I want it to be. I think when I am happy with it, when I'm happy with the way it's messaged and I've practiced the delivery and it's feeling good, then the fear will subside and the excitement will take over.
And you are bringing your whole family, or is it just your husband?
I am bringing my whole family because I really didn't expect this. But my kids, they're 5 and 7, are so invested in my Toastmasters journey. I never thought they would care. But they love it. And from the time I entered the competitions, they were telling me, when you make it to the semifinals, we're going to go to America. I think they were actually invested in this because they want to go to America. And so they were just like hoping I would make it to the semifinals so that we can go.
Yeah, go on a holiday. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So after you're in Philadelphia, are you planning to do a little bit more traveling before you come back to Australia or no?
Yeah, we wish we could stay longer, but we'll already be there for a really long time because we're putting 5 days on the front end of the trip. So after the finals, we're going to go to New York for a few days and just enjoy the city because it's right there. I love New York. I feel like I will live there one day, hopefully. I'm putting it out there.
Okay.
So we're excited. I'm excited to experience the city with my kids. They haven't really had a chance.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That sounds fantastic. Now, a question, like you said, you have 5 coaches. Have you had a moment where all 5 coaches have been together with you on Zoom, or is it like one coach at a time?
That's a fantastic question. It's like you're a psychic because just yesterday I had 4 of my coaches on a call at the same time. And
Wow.
it was phenomenal to have them all together because I was very careful when I selected who I wanted my coaches to be because I was trying to round out a full skill set. I think everybody has a strength as a speaker and everybody has a strength as a coach. And to have them all together and have one person share a perspective and then the other one question that or challenge that was really helpful. And then the other thing was, if one of the coaches shared something from their experience in the competition, I didn't have to play go-between to telephone the message over to other coaches. So to get us all on the same page was fantastic. And I'm going to do more of that going forward.
Fantastic. Now, with the coaches, I'm assuming some are in different time zones than Australia.
Yes.
So was it hard to get a time that suited everybody?
Most of my coaches, almost all of my coaches are Australia based, and then one I have in the US. And so from time zones, we're just doing early morning
Yep.
Aussie time when we do US.
And just out of curiosity, have you found that you are getting a lot of advice, not just from coaches, but from everybody?
Funny thing happened. I'm not sure what it is, but I've been saying my speech a few times over the past few weeks, and I don't think it's great. But I'm getting a lot of positivity coming my way and encouragement from people. I would say it's 80%. That was amazing. You're doing a really great job. The message resonated with me. And then 20%, I think you should change this and I think you should change that. And it's a little bit, it's throwing me off a little bit because I haven't experienced it this way with my prior speech. And so I think if I could give some preamble to the audience is like, now is the time to actually be as critical as possible and look into how can I make the speech better? What suggestion can I make that if I see it happening on the world stage, I can feel like, oh, I was part of it. I was part of shaping this speech.
I love that you have all of these differences of opinion. I mean, for me personally, well, I've never gone to your stage, but I think it would confuse me to have so many people, but if they're all on the same page, that's okay. But if there's one person who has a difference of opinion, that would totally throw me off. And not just that, there probably are a few club members who've given a little bit of their 2 cents worth. Has that confused you as well?
It hasn't confused me. You know what I do is I take the feedback and I put it on a list in my mind or even literally written down because I'm just listening for what is bubbling up from people. And then I'll do the speech again and then I'll listen again for what's bubbling up. And then if there's commonality, if things are being repeated, then I'm like, okay, this isn't just a one person thing. This is a thing. So then I take that back and work it into my speech. But ultimately, I understand that I am the gatekeeper of the speech because I'm the one that will be presenting it. So even the things that my coaches say to me, I take it as suggestions. I need to feel good about it to appear authentic on the stage.
If it doesn't resonate with you, it won't resonate with the audience. One thing that just caught my ear was that you said you have a mindset coach. So what made you decide to get a mindset coach, or is this something that you've always had?
I got a mindset coach and it's a fellow Toastmaster, funny enough. So one day we had a visitor come to our club and I said my speech, the one that I got into the semi-finals with, and everybody was saying, oh, it's really great and all kinds of positivity. And this person, the visitor, pulled me outside and said, can I give you some feedback? And I was like, yeah, please. And she's like, you're not going to win district with that speech the way it is. I just want to tell you, you need to work on this and this and this. And her bluntness and directness and how bold she was, I just admired so much. And then we got talking and she told me she's actually a mindset coach. So it's a fellow Toastmasters member and she's now my mindset coach. And I needed it because when you're receiving so much feedback and you're pushing so much in something that's new, it feels very much, you get filled. There's this risk of being filled with so much doubt. Can I really do this? Am I really good? It was really a struggle for me with my first speech early on.
Oh my goodness, you've got the mindset coach, you've got 4 coaches. And when this podcast comes out, which it will come out on the 30th of July, and as some people are listening who are in the top 28 and think, oh my God, I don't have a coach at all. So they might be totally stressing out. But when you get to that level, do you think it is necessary to have a coach?
I think it's always necessary to get high quality feedback. And if you are able to get high quality feedback from within your club, maybe you've had a lot of contest winners or even people that made it to the semis and the finals in your club, then maybe you don't need a coach. But for me, it was, how do I get exposure to as much high quality feedback in a short amount of time? Because I wasn't able to build up this pattern recognition of what good looks like from following the competition for a long time. So I'm mining the brains of each of my coaches who are obsessed with the competition. They know all of the winners. They know all of the speaking tools and tactics and who did what and who said what that I am not familiar with. So I don't think the right answer is to get 5 coaches. I think the right answer is probably somewhere in the middle. And when I say coaches, these aren't, not all of my coaches are paid coaches. They're enthusiastic, incredibly talented Toastmasters members that from my club, except they're willing to give me the time to sit with me, look at my script, listen to me speak, and then give me feedback.
Well said. Well said. You have to do what works for you. So do you have any sort of tips or any sort of meditation that you are going to bring along with you before you get on stage?
Oh, I wish I could ask you that, or like crowdsource your listeners for that, because one of the you know him well, Nite Yaye, who came second in 2021, was telling me that ritual is really important. Some kind of familiarity that I need to come up with so that before I go onto stage, I do the ritual, because in that moment, you ground yourself in some kind of certainty before you throw yourself into a deeply scary situation. And I've been thinking about it ever since he told me. And I haven't come up with a ritual yet, but I will. The one thing that I am going to take along with is a lucky charm, because as fate would have it, yesterday I was working on my speech, and I'll give you a little teaser. I'm introducing a little creature into my speech. And funny enough, my daughter brought home a little figure of that creature as a gift for me. So that's going to be my lucky charm.
Fantastic. Fantastic. One thing I have heard with people who have competed is that they usually don't watch the other speeches. They'll just be off on the side practicing on their own. And someone said one thing that he did was he got one of his favorite songs ever, and he would just put on the headphones and just blare this song, and just it would get him so happy. I can't remember what the song was, but it would just get him so happy and just so like ready to face the audience. It may have been like something as cheesy as Eye of the Tiger or something like that. But I thought, oh, that's a great idea. Like if music motivates you to listen to something, something that will get you all sparked up. Well, this has been such a delightful conversation. Now, so you have got, I guess about, is it 3 weeks? How many weeks do you have now until the competition?
3 weeks.
You have 3 weeks. So every day, are you practicing? Is that what you're doing? Or how often are you meeting with your coaches?
I meet with my coaches daily. And that's the cadence I'm at right now. I think I'm going to shift to probably every second day starting next week. But I really needed this fast turnaround time to get the script tightened up. And I'm probably spending about 4 hours a day on it, I'd say, at this point.
Wow. That's fantastic. And of course, being a mother to a 5 and a 7-year-old, but it sounds like they're in your corner anyways, because they're ready for this trip. So, so they're being your little cheerleaders. So how exciting for you. So is there any sort of advice that you could give to our listeners who are thinking about a competition? What do you think is the one best bit of advice that you could give to someone now who's listening and thinks, oh my God, how do I even get to that stage?
I think people, I thought this too. I thought you have to be at a certain level of speaking to enter the competition, especially when I watched the winners of the World Championship of Public Speaking. It's like I felt I was nowhere close to as good a speaker as them. And it deterred me from wanting to enter. That was the hesitation I had. I actually never thought I would get this far, Evelyn. I just entered the competition to see what happens. And I thought I'll improve my public speaking through Toastmasters, and 5 years from now, I'll enter for real and then hopefully get to the final stage. But what surprised me was the act of entering the competition. The speaker I was when I entered and the speaker I am now are worlds apart. I just can't believe how much I've improved, not only in the way I speak at Toastmasters, but just in everyday life, in my job, with my friends. There's so much clarity and emotion and storytelling, storylining in the way that I speak now, all because of this competition. So for me, it was this deep, intensive boot camp on a skill that was very important to me. So my advice to listeners is, you don't need to feel like you're a top speaker to enter. Enter the competitions, and through it, you will grow so much and so fast, you will shock yourself. Seriously.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. And I will all be cheering you on wherever we are in the world. We will be cheering you on. And can you just remind us, when is the date of the semifinals and the international comp?
The semifinals are on the 21st of August, 2025, and the finals are 2 days later, so the 23rd of August.
The 23rd of August. How exciting. Well, congratulations for getting this far. You're a winner already. But to go even further, we'll all be, like I said, cheering you on. Congratulations again, Remona.
Thank you. Thanks, Evelyn.
And it's been such a pleasure having you on the podcast. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your company. Please tune in next time to the Toastmasters Experience.